Yesterday we started talking about what people call the Ten Commandments. I said that the Torah calls it Aseret HaDevarim, the 10 statements, or some people refer to it as the Decalogue, from Deca, 10, Logos, word, the 10 words. But it's the same thing. The 10 Commandments is based on a mistranslation of into Latin or one of the languages, and then came into the English. But it is altogether is a pact. It's a covenant made of 10 statements that leads us in the right path. It's interesting to try to analyze the things that are included in that pact, in that covenant, because this is the covenant that makes Am Yisrael the nation of God, and God the God of Israel. So it's a very important event for the establishment of the new nation. And some people are surprised that you have such basic things as you shall not murder, or you shall not steal. You would have expected something like that, magnificent historical statement, very innovative ideas. But the Torah includes, like I said, adultery, murder, theft, even though it seems natural to people that those are laws that you should not transgress, to show you that even those things that you take for granted, it is important that they come from a divine source. Because once they are given into human decision, people could play with them, which we've seen, especially when it comes to murder, tyrants, dictators, someone like Hitler, justifying murder by redefining who is human, saying, Lo tirtzah, yes, you shall not kill, but Jews are not humans. They dehumanized us and then allowed for murder to take place. So opens the Ten Commandments with Anochi Hashem Elohecha, I am Hashem your God who took you out of the house of bondage, but avadim, you are not subjugated to other human beings, and all human beings are equal. Therefore, you cannot tamper with the laws to say this is a human being, this is not a human being. But if we go in order. So let's go in order now, briefly. So the first one is the statement of the existence of God, and that God took us out of Egypt, and by that He made us a nation. For if we had stayed in Egypt, we would disappear. This is what we say in the Agadah. If Hashem ilulei hotzia HaKadosh Baruch Hu otanu mitzrayim, adayin anachnu bnei banenu mishu'abadim, we would still be enslaved, meaning that we would have completely disappeared. So God gave us our identity and our freedom, and the Torah warns us in the next statement, the second diber, Lo ta'aseh lecha pesel v'chol temuna, asher b'shamayim mima'al v'asher ba'aretz mitachad. You shall not make for you any physical image of God, whether you use an object that exists in heavens or on earth or in the water. Meaning no physical object in this world could represent God. So this is obviously an admonition against idolatry, against creating images and worshipping them. But the modern reader, today we read this, we think there's no idolatry, right? People don't worship idols. But we still do. It's a deep concept. The idea of idolatry is that we create false gods, false religious ideals, and we follow them. We know they're false. We created them, but we use them in order to justify our tendencies to do evil things or whatever it is. So when we go back in time, there were religious practices such as the molech, where people kill their children, sacrifice their children to their gods. So some people say this doesn't exist today. But if you look at terrorists or terror organizations who educate their children to become suicide bombers, they sacrifice them in the name of their religion. This is a false religion. In the study of religion and psychology, the researchers have come to the conclusion that we have a natural tendency for spirituality. There's one scholar, Emil Durkheim, said that we are human beings. He used the term homo duplex. We're like a two-story, I think that was before there were duplex homes, that he coined this phrase. He meant that we have two levels. We have two levels. One level is the our regular behavior, everyday behavior, and once in a while we have a spiritual experience that it's like almost like going through a door into a second floor of the house that you never knew existed, and say, "Wow, I didn't know there are so many things here." And when you have that, you feel inspired, you feel elevated, and every human being wants that experience, something that we cherish. To some people, the religious experience means that you are bound by your religion. There are laws, especially in Judaism, many details of the law. And that is where they have a problem. I love the religious experience. I love the ecstatic experience, or that feeling that I'm something greater than the natural mundane world. But I don't want to be bound by all these laws. I want to be able to do some things that religion doesn't allow me. So what is the solution for that? Idolatry. Because with idolatry, you create a false god, and because you created it, you also created the religion. So you turn to the pagan turns to his god and says, "What do you think I should do? Huh? Oh yeah, okay, I'll do that." It's exactly what he wants to do. So and eventually this becomes in the name of religion.
Or God told me.
Right, God told me so. In the name of that religion, they created take it to an extreme and destroy society, destroy other human beings. So that's why the Torah is so keen on the prohibition of idolatry, to the extent of Anochi Adonai Elohecha El Kana. I am a jealous God. What is the jealousy? Why would God be jealous? Jealous of inanimate objects that people worship? It doesn't make sense. If we think that it's about God, it doesn't make sense. And indeed, the Midrash in Echa Rabbah, I quoted it once, I think, my great-grandfather, Haim Ovadia, also wrote the Piyut, Zechut Rachel, based on that after the destruction, Rachel, Imenu, comes and talks to God and says, "Why did you destroy the temple over the sin of idolatry? Are you jealous of idols? Look at me, I was not jealous of my sister, and I had all the right to be jealous of her because she took the love of my husband, and I was not jealous. But you're the omniscient, omnipotent king. You will have jealousy towards avodah zarah, towards idolatry that has no worth, no value." It's a good argument, which the rabbis put in the mouth of Rachel. It's a midrash. So the answer to that, really, Hashem is not jealous of avodah zarah. It's not jealous in the sense of a jealous husband is upset at his wife for loving someone else. The Torah uses the term jealousy because this is a term we understand. This is what is called Dibrat Torah, Kilshon Bnei Adam. This is an emotion that we understand. But the jealousy here is more like that of a parent who sees that his child is taking the wrong path. Not the wrong path because this is not what the parent wants the kid to do, but rather because this would lead him to destruction. So he insists, with zeal, it's more zeal than jealousy, that the child will not do that. For example, and that is an example that came up in the discussion with parents a while ago. The parents of the modern age say, "No, we let the kids explore, let them play, let them do whatever they want. It's a free world." I say, yeah, but there is a limit. Even when you want to give children liberty, you know that there is a limit. What if your child says, "Oh, there's a nice minefield outside the house. Let me go and play a little bit. I want to take some explosive devices apart." You will say, "No, I think that's where you stop," right? So you have to know where to put boundaries. The same way God intervenes, God knows the danger of idolatry, so he uses very harsh terms. El Kana, a jealous God, or zealous. So you know that the Torah takes it very seriously, and you make sure that you don't wander into those territories of avodah zarah. And indeed, Am Yisrael was able to abolish avodah zarah earlier than other nations. The Torah adds here, "Poked avon avot al banim al shileshim v'al ribeim lesoneai v'oseh chesed la'alafim lo havai u'shovrei mitzvotai." Hashem gives a reward to thousands of generations. Hesed is literally faithfulness, meaning God keeps his faith with people who are faithful to him, and will pay the iniquities of the parents upon the children. And that is It's a strange statement because in other places in the Tanakh it says lo yubtu avot al banim uvanim lo yubtu al avot ish b'chet'o yumatu. Children will not die for the sin of the parents. Parents will not die for the sin of the children. Each will be punished for his own sin. So that is from the legal point of view. It's true. A son cannot be punished, cannot be held responsible for his parents' actions. But what the Torah says here is something else. Poked avon avot, the iniquity will be carried over to the next generation. That's a warning to the parents. Just like the warning against idolatry is to protect us, that we don't go down that path. That warning is, you as a parent should know that if you misbehave, your child will emulate your behavior. And he will also, you can't say, okay, I'm doing drugs, but I want my kid to be clean. It's not going to happen. I'm an alcoholic, but I want my kid to be sober. It will be okay. It's not going to happen. I'm a lazy bum, so to speak. I'm not going to work, but my kid is going to work.
Genes.
No, it's not just genes. It's education. It's teaching by example. What the children see that their parents do, this is what they will follow. Not necessarily the kid has to imitate exactly the actions of the parents, but their worldview. If a child grows up in an environment where the parents are dedicated to society, to doing good, they will find a way to do good, if this way or another. Even if sometimes they abandon religion as an established religion, but they will still do good with society. But if a child grows in a home where there's evil or corruption or carelessness, the child will grow up the same. Even if that house is apparently religious and observant, but if something is missing there, that will be carried on to the next generation. So it's important to lead by example. This is what Torah says here. And then, Lo tiseh et Shem Adonai Elohecha lashav, ki lo yinakeh Adonai et asher yiseh et shemo lashav. Do not bear Hashem's name in vain. This has been taken literally by people to mean that they're very, very concerned about saying bracha levatala, saying bracha when it's not necessary. Almost anytime you'll ask people, what is carrying Hashem's name in vain, they will tell you, it's if you say a bracha which is not necessary. So they will deliberate for hours. Do I have to say the bracha? I don't have to say bracha. Open the Shulchan Aruch, go back and forth. That's nice. It's important to know that. But the real meaning of that, do not bear Hashem's name in vain, is that we should not use religion as an excuse. We should not hide behind religion or corrupt religion. When you see clergymen, whether they're priests or rabbis or imams, that say in the name of religion we could do this and that, and find shelter in the church or the central, whatever organization it is, that is bearing Hashem's name in vain, because by projecting religiosity into the world, you let yourself do what you want. As it happened to me once that on an airplane, years ago, before they had every meal with the barcode and every passenger could move, I had a case where someone took the kosher meal that my wife and I had ordered for the family. It's just he looked as a Haredi Jew, which I don't think he was, and that man approached me. It was a flight from Colombia to Israel with a stopover in London. In London, they boarded the plane. The guy comes to me. He says, "We don't have food. We forgot to order food. Do you have something to eat?" I said, "I have chocolate bars, but they're not Halav Yisrael." He said, "No, we don't eat. If it's not Halav Yisrael, I don't eat that." Okay. So he said, and then they went and they sat all the way back by the kitchen. So when the stewardess came out with the food, they saw a Haredi man. Automatically, he said, "Oh, Galat kosher meal is for you." Yeah, he says yes, and they got it right. So this is an example, and I confronted him later on. It was done deliberately. He basically said, "Okay, I'll get someone's meal, and someone who cares less about religion will get a less kosher meal." Right? There's an example of using your religion to get people's trust and to do something evil. So that's what this is. So all these three are bundled together into the idea that God gave us a gift of spirituality that is built into our genes, into our psyche, and it's amazing. It really can do wonders for the world. Without religion, in many senses, without religion, society will fall apart, and also humans. We need the ability to pray, the ability to connect to God. Like they say, there are no in the foxholes. There are no atheists. Everybody needs to pray when they're in danger. We need that. It gives us support, gives us the sense of community, but we have to use it correctly. And then the next statement is Zachor et Yom HaShabbat, that the idea of Shabbat is that God gives us a gift. Previously in Shemot it says Re'u ki Adonai natan lachem et HaShabbat. When the people came and said we couldn't find the manna on the second day on Shabbat, Moshe says God gave you the Shabbat. It's a gift to you. People back in the day, people didn't understand that concept. What do you mean? I have to cease working for a whole day? I need to tend to my fields? No, you have to rest. What about my servants? My servants, no, your servants, your slaves should rest as well. That was innovative and revolutionary, but over time other nations learned from it, and this is really an amazing gift that God gave us, the ability to not be enslaved to our own work and our schedule, but to take a break, take a day off. Today, by the way, people pay a lot of money for Shabbat, for a Shabbat experience. There are hotels that charge thousands of dollars for a weekend without Wi-Fi connection. So they because they know that if you go to a place where there is connection, you eventually will log in somehow. So people pay for it's called digital detox. Like our connection to digital devices is intoxicating. We have toxins in our body or in our mind. They say we'll let you detox by spending a couple of days without internet. So I say instead of paying $3,000, $4,000 a night for a place without internet, come spend Shabbat in an observant household, and then you get the same experience. But it's a gift. And finally, we have Kabet Avicha Veit Imecha. That's the end of the first part. Kabet Avicha Veit Imecha, honor your father and mother. That's the gift of family that not everybody has the ability to enjoy. Unfortunately, there are many families where there's inner strife, people don't talk to each other, alienated siblings, parents. It's a shame. We have to be able to use the gift of family as much as possible. We need the connection to other people. It's one of the 5 basic needs that was charted out by psychologists, Abraham Maslow and others. So the first half, to sum it up, the gifts of God to humanity: freedom, spirituality, religion, Shabbat, and family. Then the second half speaks of that which belongs to others, that you should not take. Lo tirtzach, do not kill, because by killing you're taking someone else's life. Do not commit adultery, because that is taking someone else's relationships, someone else's love. And trust. Lo tignov, you shall not steal, you're taking someone else's possessions. Lo ta'aneh be're'acha shaker, do not bear false testimony, do not testify in false testimony against another person, because then you're denying that person due process and justice. So all these things are situations where I take something that doesn't belong to me. So Torah has now balanced them. The Torah tells us, why would you take someone that doesn't belong to you? Because you feel that you don't have enough, right? Reflect on the first part. You do have enough. You're a human being. You have family. You have the ability of Shabbat to rest. You have spirituality. Enough. That is enough. You don't need more than that. And now comes the conclusion. Lo tahmod eshet ra'icha, lo tahmod bet ra'icha. It's not you shall not desire, you shall not covet, but rather you will not. It's a promise. If you start from Hashem is your God, you are a free man, and you go through the 10 commandments, you reflect on them, you get to the point where you don't want to take anything that doesn't belong to you. Even if you have this fleeting moment of desire, wow, it's nice, I would like to have it, but then you brush it away and say, okay, I'm good as I am. And that is a process that you go through. So Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 statements or the 10 concepts are a journey. You start with belief, you build your life, and you come to the point where you don't feel jealousy or the need to take anything from anyone else, and that allows you to practice ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha, love others as you love yourself, which is the core of the Torah. Now, just as a nice, this is a candy that the Torah gives us. I found out after I did this analysis, I wanted to see if it's alluded to in the words. So I looked at the text, and indeed the Torah divides the 10 Commandments into 2 units. And if you take the first word and the last 2 words of each unit, it gives you the message that I just said in a nutshell. And I'm saying it's a candy because it's just beautiful. If you look at it, the first half of the 10 Commandments start with Anochi Adonai Elohecha. I am Hashem your God, right? But the first word is Anochi. It ends with a pasuk, honor your father and mother, so you'll have a long life on the land that Hashem gives you. So למען יאריכון ימיך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך. So the last 2 words is נותן לך. Now read just the first word and the last 2 words together. What does it say? אנוכי נותן לך. I give you. You take out all the set of the 10 commandments. The first unit starts and אנוכי נותן לך, I give you, meaning appreciate your gifts. The second half starts with לא תרצח. You shall not commit murder. לא. It ends with לא תחמוד, you shall not covet this and this and this and that. וכל אשר לרעך, all that belongs to others. So now read only the first word and the last 2. לא אשר לרעך. Don't touch that which doesn't belong to you. So if you want to sum up the whole 10 commandments in 6 words, אנוכי נותן לך, לא אשר לרעך. Enjoy what is yours, don't take which doesn't belong to you, then you have a beautiful and joyful life. ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן ואמן.